Teaching your horse to pick up its feet is an essential part of horse training. There's many styles of horse training, and in this video I'll show you how I used positive reinforcement with treats and praise to teach a young, inexperienced pony called Tyr, who you can see here, to pick up his feet. I'll explore how to get your horse to stand still, how to use treats safely when training. I will also show pressure and release training and explore how both approaches can be used in preparing for the farrier and in picking up feet. This is Tyr. He's just over 4 years old. I've had him since he was 6 months old. He's a Dartmoor Hill pony and he's about 12 hands high. And he's always up to mischief. He's always getting himself into little scrapes and climbing hedges, and he's playful. He's the baby of this herd. I'll also be telling you a story about Tyr. I let somebody with much more experience with horses take control of him at one point because they were telling me that I was soft, that I needed to make him do what he was told. He was dominating me. They said that he was being pushy and coltish. It was really upsetting, and it made me really rethink what I was going to do in terms of training and taming the ponies, because if you're like me, you want them to enjoy being with you. You want them to enjoy training. I find the best way to set up for training is to have a one-to-one area next to the other ponies. So you're separate, but they've still got the company and the support. If you're training in a field, the best way is to use some electric fence tape to just make a separate area, something you can pop up nice and easily so that it's not a big hassle. You want to be able to do the short training sessions for a few days in a row. So the easier it is to set up, the better. Another really handy thing as a beginner is to get used to carrying a little whip or a stick with you, or a flag, something that if needed you can ask them to give you some space with. So you can just wave it around in front of them to get them to back up a little bit so that they give you space before you give them treats. Okay, let's get started. So Tyr is standing still. I run my hand down his leg. When he lifts up his foot, and then I come round to the front. I give him a treat away from my body in front of him. I've had to teach Tyr to take the treats like this. He did used to mug me. We've had to do a lot of work on boundaries in our training as well. Tyr is quite used to this, so he will hold his foot up for longer. If you were starting, you would just run your hand down the leg. As soon as they picked it up just a little bit, you'd give a or a click, put the foot down again, move round to the front, give them a treat away from the body, out in front of them. If you're thinking, but I can't even get my horse or pony to stand still, don't worry. I had that problem as well. Tyr and I had to work through it, and I'll be covering that in the next section. When you first start doing this, the important thing is to run your hand down the leg, and as soon as they pick the foot up, to give a click or a whistle and reward straight away. Be happy and positive about the little try. When you first start doing it, you're just trying to give them the idea of what's expected. They do something, you whistle or click, they get a reward. You're teaching them the pattern. So just hold on to their foot until they pick it up and then reward. On your first session, you would just want to repeat this a few times and then leave it there, end positively. Give them some scratches or a groom, make them feel good after it so that the session ended positively. You only need 5 or 10 minutes really, and then you can do it again the next day. Short sessions, repeated over a few days, increasing the time that they hold up the hoof each time. Okay, so the story about Tyr. He wouldn't stand still for the farrier. Then on this one occasion, a different farrier had to visit with another person, and they both had many years of experience with horses. We were having difficulty with Tyr's hoof, and I was told that I needed to be firm, that he was taking the mickey out of me, that he was being dominant, and needed to know that I was in charge. The farrier, who I would describe as old school, said that he would try and help, and he would take control of Tyr and show me what I needed to do, and it was horrible. His approach was to be very aggressive, scare Tyr to try and get him to submit to his will, wrestling with him, being aggressive towards him. He was doing things to Tyr that he didn't understand, and in that moment I froze. I felt the pressure of these people with more experience than me telling me what to do. I didn't like what I was seeing. Tyr was looking at me, and I could see that he was frightened, that he was confused. It took me longer than it should have for me to stop the situation and to say enough and to ask them to leave. It's one of my biggest regrets. I feel I let him down and I should have said no much quicker, and it made me realise that I should always trust my instincts, that I might not have all these years of experience, but in my heart and in my mind, I knew it wasn't the right way to go about things. Maybe I didn't know the right way, but I knew that that wasn't it. Fear doesn't teach, and I could see that, and it took a long time to repair the damage that that session did and to rebuild Tyr's trust, something that I won't ever take for granted again. Our very human selves make everything about power. It's our ego. Everything's about will and control. And for horses, those things, they just don't exist. Horses and ponies are prey animals. They're basically just giant chickens. And we don't think of chickens as trying to dominate us or control us. It's just funny, really, when you think about it. So how did I change things around with Tyr? Well, I used two different types of training: positive reinforcement and pressure and release. And I find a combination of both of these makes the perfect recipe for training. When you're preparing to train your horse or pony to pick up their feet, it's a good idea to teach them to back up if you haven't already. So here I'm asking Tyr to back up with my energy. I stand in front of him, raise my hand and my stick, make some energy, make some noise, just waiting for him to move away from the pressure of my energy and my body. He takes a step back, he takes a step back with the other foot, and then I release the pressure. You stand in front, energy neutral, and then you bring your energy up, assertive posture, make some energy with your stick or your hands. When they step away, you stop immediately. Here I'm asking Tyr to follow from the pressure of the lead rope. You put on a little bit of pressure and feel, and as soon as he gives to that pressure, you release. You don't want to keep tension on the lead rope, you don't want to be pulling, you just want there to be a nice flow. You put on a little feel, they follow, you release. How does this help them to stand still? If your horse starts moving when you're trying to pick up their feet, don't try and control them or hold them in place. That's pointless, they're much stronger than us. You would over-agree with what they're doing. So if they want to move, you say, yes, let's move. Moving then feels like work, and standing still feels like a much better option. So you would back them up 3 or 4 times or lead them around in a circle nice and quickly, then bring them back and ask them to pick up their feet. Hopefully they would pick them up. If they didn't, you would just repeat the pattern until they stood still and lifted their feet nicely. It took Tyr 3 times to work it out. I'm doing the YouTube channel because I've only had the ponies for 4 years and I was a complete novice. There's lots of things that I wish I knew 4 years ago before I got the ponies. Horses are pattern animals and they learn patterns very quickly. We can use this in any part of our training, but in picking up their feet and standing still, it's particularly effective. They quickly realise that moving around is a lot of effort, and standing still and picking up their feet becomes the relaxing, comfortable place to be. You make the activity of picking up feet and standing still really nice and pleasant, and the option to move feels like hard work and uncomfortable. Then if you use treats to reward them picking up their feet, that makes them really sweet on it and really happy to do it. That's what happened with Tyr, and now he's quite happy to have his hooves picked out, to see the farrier. He's a really good boy. I always end sessions by giving the ponies some scratches or a groom or just having a nice time together. I had hoped to record some of this talking to you when I was with the ponies and doing my session with Tyr earlier, but it was just too windy and it was too noisy. I'm still recording everything on my phone. I'm uploading a video every day, trying to restart my channel, which is a challenge on top of training, taming, caring for the 8 ponies. So bear with me in terms of the sound and the video. I'm learning it all as I go. It's really intimidating being a beginner in the horsey world. There's so much you can get from horses and ponies that I want to encourage anyone who's thinking about it to go about it in the right way and to help and support. I'm hoping that my beginner's knowledge might help other people who are beginners as well, or who are learning, because we're always learning when we've got horses and ponies, and it's nice to have somewhere where you can share that learning with others who are also doing the same. And I'm really keen to hear anything about your experiences with horses and ponies, with training, or just any of it really. I hope this can be a place where we can all kind of learn from each other, and I might be able to solve some problems to transform the relationship you have with your horses and ponies, to make it positive, happy, playful. And I hope you like the video. It'd be really interesting to know what you think works best, things that you've been told in the past that you now realise aren't actually true.